if it's the Knicks breaking records that want to make you sick, well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It absolutely made me sick. Reggie Miller calling the game, sitting there laughing. Tyrese Haliburton, after hitting that shot at the end of regulation, trying to choke himself and making himself look like Reggie Miller when he played the Knicks I think it was in 1993. Nothing made any Knicks fan happy watching that debacle of a game. And
shouldn't you get home field advantage, like home court advantage with the bounce, and then they give it to Haliburton? Like, what are we doing?
I'm going to get into the home court advantage because home court advantage doesn't work in the New York Knicks' minds, except the New York Knicks fans that are absolutely lost after that game. Here's the facts. I watch every single Knicks game in the playoffs. Every single one of them in the last 25 years. I haven't missed one playoff game in 25 years. And it doesn't matter where the Knicks are. For some reason, the NBA don't like them. They don't like them. I really believe that nobody over there, when it comes to the commissioner, the vice president of basketball operations, likes the New York Knicks. Because for some reason, they put these referees in charge of these games, and you wonder if they're actually giving the Knicks home court advantage. Usually, the home team has the advantage, not the New York Knicks, not in Madison Square Garden. As loud as the fans and how crazy the fans are and how the NBA really promotes New York basketball, for some damn reason, the New York Knicks never get the call. And
Errol, do they pick, like, and Speedy, you may know this better than I do from the basketball side of it. Do they pick the referees for postseason based on evaluations through regular season?
Yes, they
or
do.
How?
But I don't know exactly how the NBA is doing it now. I mean, it's been like that for years. But again, you don't know what Adam Silver with the LJA is running as far as the organization and the league, because the LJA has decided so many different things that make you shake your head, especially watching the lottery draft just a week ago and watching a team like the Mavericks win it after there was a chance of 1.8%.
1.8, yeah.
1.8% chance that they were going to win the number one draft pick, and they get the number one draft pick. Why? Because Luka Doncic is playing with the LJA, LeBron James. Over there, the association is working in his favor. But honestly, getting back to this game, it's despicable. It's despicable. Watching Karl Anthony Towns, everybody says, well, look at the game. Look at the numbers Karl Anthony Towns had in game one. And this is what you want your big man superstar to have. Here's what I don't like about Karl Anthony Towns. When it comes down to a big shot, first of all, why is he shooting 40, 50-foot jumpers at the three-point line? Why isn't he not standing behind the line and shooting a normal three-pointer? It doesn't make any sense. He's not Steph Curry, okay? He's not. And he's got to stop believing that he is. Because every single time I see this guy pick up, get a pass over there, 6-7 feet behind the three-point line, and he's chucking up threes. And 90% of the time, they don't go in. And then this guy gets fouled, and he's a 92 or 93% free throw shooter, and he misses big shots at the free throw line in the fourth quarter. It doesn't make any sense. And every single time I see this, it reminds me of the 94 Knicks. The bad luck the 94 Knicks had against the Rockets. This isn't even the finals. And I watched that New York Knicks team up 3-2 make so many common mistakes that this team has done really throughout the playoffs. Look at what they did against Detroit. Look at the games against the Celtics. The games that they lost against the Celtics, they were getting crushed and getting demolished. Even the games that they won, coming back from 20 points. That is despicable. You're a great defensive team. You got a great player in OG Anunoby. OG plays an unbelievable defensive game throughout the Celtics series, especially in Game 6. And then all of a sudden, in game number 1, he disappears defensively against a Pacer team that's a shell of what the Celtics are. They're a shell of what the Celtics are. They're a good team. They're the hottest team right now going into the playoffs in basketball. The Pacers are. They're very well coached with Rick Carlisle. They've got this guy, Nesmith, who probably nobody knows who he is unless you watch the Pacers.
It was the Celtics draft pick, and Jeff hated it at the time.
Yeah, and this is a guy that was, fourth or third in the league in three-point percentage? But nobody realized that until he was hitting three-pointer after three-pointer after three-pointer in the fourth quarter. It makes you sick to your stomach. It really does. does. And then you look at the Pacers team as a whole. This is not a very good roster. Nobody thinks that this all around is a better roster than the New York Knicks. And when you have Mikal Bridges and then Jalen Brunson, and by the way, Jalen Brunson, why are you getting into foul trouble? You don't play defense. Why are you defending anybody? Why are you out there fouling different people? Now, some of the fouls were uncalled for, and what they were doing to Jalen Brunson throughout the game was despicable. The referees should have been calling flagrant fouls. There were times in the game that guys were elbowing Jalen Brunson, and they were getting away with it. They hit him in the neck. They hit him in the face. At least 3 times in the game, no flagrant fouls were called. And you have Tyrese Haliburton on the sidelines talking how great Mitchell Robinson is, but he forgets that his the under guy over there, their best player in Jalen Brunson, throughout the game was absolutely terminating him in every point of the offensive part of the game. The only problem with the New York Knicks is pretty simple. The Knicks, when they get these big leads, or they put themselves in a great position, or they have a good rotation, when they had guys like McBride on the court in the fourth quarter when they were up 14, why would you take McBride out? Why would you do that? It makes no sense. You're up 14 with 3 minutes left of the game. McBride's playing great defense. Haliburton has not done anything in the fourth quarter, really. And then you take him out to replace him with Jalen Brunson, who doesn't play a lick of defense. I'm not saying Jalen Brunson isn't a big part of this team. He's the captain of the team. He's the best offensive option. But when you're up 14, why even worry about the offensive side of the ball? Play defense. You're letting these guys.
That's
get
what we
back
talked
into the
about on
game.
coaching, watching by feel and watching the game. Like, I 100% agree with you. At that point, it's like, okay, he's in foul trouble. You're up 14. Why? Like, let's not mess up with what we got, even though your captain and your best player isn't in there. But you're still up 14. Why would you change that? And that goes to kind of what we talked about, right?
Stubbornness.
Is he doing the, like, hey, they have to go in at this time and what have you? Or are you just watching the game and be like, play it by feel? Like, if they get in with 10, then yeah, okay, probably make a change. But right at that point, I 100% agree with you. Like, what are you doing?
First of all, you should never ask Tom Thibodeau to play it by feel. Because if he plays it by feel, he'll keep every single player, his starting lineup, in for the whole game, all 48 minutes. The guy makes no sense. His rotation makes no sense. Mitchell Robinson should be out there a lot more than he is. None of it makes sense. And I know he has a love fest for Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. They're important pieces to the team. They don't play a lick of defense. Both of them don't play a lick of defense. And you have guys like Mikal Bridges, who gets himself into foul trouble, makes no sense. OG Anunoby, who at some points, I wonder if he's even playing in the game. He completely disappears in certain games when he's so talented. And then when he's getting hot, what does a guy like Tom Thibodeau do? He brings Jalen Brunson back when you have a hot player shooting the three and doing the things that he's been doing in the fourth quarter, which he hasn't done it the whole game because Jalen Brunson hogs the ball. That's the facts, Jack. That's why the Knicks never move the ball when he's on the court. It's the Jalen Brunson show. Now, he's much better than Carmelo Anthony. He is much better than he is. He hits big shots. He's Big Game J, whatever they call him, Big Game J on the, what's the show that they have? I don't know what their show's
The Roommates
called. The
podcast?
Roommates.
Yeah.
They, as we know, Josh Hart calls him Big Game J. That's what all the guys on that show that go on the show, that's what they call him. That's great. He's a great big-time shooter. But when it comes to the big-time parts of the game, when the Knicks need defense, he don't play a lick of it. And they need that defense if they expect to beat this Pacer team that's young, one, can go up and down the court as fast as any team right now in basketball. They don't give a crap, and they have nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose right now. They know they could beat the Knicks. They beat them last year. Yes, the Knicks weren't 100% healthy, and they're healthier this year. But they know they can beat them. And you have guys like Tyrese Haliburton, who is a cartoon character. He's dancing. He's SpongeBob SquarePants. He's dancing around, prancing around, holding his neck. Every time he hits a big shot, he's telling the New York Knicks fans to go kiss his ass. I mean, this is what this guy does. And if Knicks fans want to shut this guy up, go out there and beat him. Go out there and shut his mouth up. Don't go out there after the game and while you're on social media and TikTok saying, oh, if he ever walks out there and we see him in public, we're going to beat the hell out of him. You think he cares? This guy's making millions and millions of dollars. He doesn't care what the Knicks fans say. As long as the Knicks get knocked out of the playoffs and he's the reason why they do that, he don't give a crap. So New York Knicks fans, stop going on social media and giving him a reason to make jokes and laugh and put it on the little board over there in Indiana or in their locker room saying, look what I'm doing to the Knicks fans. Poke, poke, poke. I'll tell you what Tyrese Haliburton did that he shouldn't have done. He poked the bear. And we all know when you poke the bear, it's not a good thing. And we know after the New York Knicks game in game number 5, the Knicks were not happy. Jalen Brunson was not very happy. Josh Hart was absolutely, he was upset beyond I've ever seen Josh Hart upset. And what did he do at the press conference? He said, listen, if we play like that, we don't deserve to win. We're going to go out there. We're going to be a different team. After this game, you saw Jalen Brunson's face. Not only was he shocked, he was upset. He didn't even want to stay up there and answer any of the questions. And when you see a player like that and you see somebody like Jalen Brunson and he's the captain of the team, what do you think he's going to do after that press conference? He's going to go into that locker room and he's going to shut the door. They're going to have a team meeting, and it's not going to be a happy team meeting. Tom Thibodeau, he is a lot quieter than he used to be. I don't know if anybody knows Tom Thibodeau. I don't know personally, but I remember with the Chicago Bulls when after he lost the game, he'd go out there, his face would be red, screaming at the press. He couldn't finish his sentence before he's mocking everybody. Not yesterday. He was calm and collective. He was upset. He said, listen, we are the better team. He pretty much said, we are the better team. We choked at the end of the game. We gave that game up. And that could cost the series, or will get my team back into this series and let them realize that we're not going to just run through this team. This is going to be all the way to the end. This is going to be a race. This is a marathon, it's not going to happen in five games. It's not going to happen probably in 6 games. It could happen in 7 games. I just think that the Knicks need to understand something. This Pacer team is not going to go away. They're not going to go away. They're ants. That's what they are. And what does the ants do? They protect the queen. And when Rick Carlisle is out there speaking to the referees and calling, and that guy, you want to talk about an energetic guy at the press conference, go watch his press conferences. That guy's crazy. And you can see the way his team plays. They play just like him. He goes out there and he says, I don't give a crap. My team's going to go out there. We're going to play hard-nosed basketball, old-time basketball. And if you beat us fair and square. That's the way he goes out and plays the game. And that's what you want to see the Knicks do. But if Tom Thibodeau does not fight fire with fire and he plays these baby games and lets this cartoon character go out there and embarrass the Knicks on their home floor, this series could go in 5. This team needs to wake up. They need to go in game 2. They need to show up on Friday and not even make this game close. They win it by double digits, and they make sure they know that when we go back to Indiana, it's not going to be one of those easy series at home. We're a better away team than we are at home.